Hey everyone, I am excited today to have Brad Rencher with me, and we're doing a little bit of a Clubhouse theme today with audio only. We had to bring Clubhouse outside of the app, so I'm excited to have Brad though. Brad and I worked together on a few things back at Adobe. I always loved giving Brad some juicy stats to share on Black Friday weekend about how much money people were spending. And he is the current CEO of BambooHR. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about employee experience, what Bamboo is doing with people analytics, and making sure that you are keeping your talent engaged and excited. Brad, if you wouldn't mind kind of introducing yourself and talking a little bit about Bamboo, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Joe, thanks for having me on. And, all those stats that you shared with me back in the day went straight from your desk right to CNBC. You got top billing, and Wall Street Journal started to quote you. So you had a big impact at Adobe with all of your work and the team's work. It was fun to watch. I am so fortunate to be on here today and representing BambooHR. And it's really been a fun experience for me. I've been at Bamboo for just, a little over a year and a couple months. And Joe, you and I left Adobe about the same time. And for me, I wasn't really sure what was next because I had spent so much time at Adobe building and helping that business, transform over the prior 10 years. And I don't move around often. When I commit, I go deep. And so it took a really special place to say, gosh, I feel like this is a spot where I can put down some roots and help what is already an award-winning team continue that trajectory to build and create what is today the leading platform for small and medium-sized businesses. And you think about the economic engine here in the U.S., it really starts with I've got an idea, I'm going to hang out my own shingle and get started. And I go from 1 employee to 2 to 3 to 10. And next thing I know, I'm in the midst of spreadsheets and everything else to try to manage the experience that my employees are having at my company. And that's really where Bamboo comes in as you're looking to manage and deliver an exceptional onboarding experience, new hire experience, and all the way through that employee life cycle. Bamboo is the leading platform that's happening where that's happening today, and just excited to be here and talk a little bit about something I'm passionate about today.
That's really great. I remember one of my final reports from that Adobe Digital Index team was about emerging technologies, and it was in the Washington Post and a couple of other outlets. And I remember one of the top ones was people analytics and how businesses really need to focus on that in the next, 10, 15 years as remote work is on the rise and there's less centralization. And obviously we've seen massive growth in that area. What is the real, DNA of a good employee experience? How does Bamboo kind of enhance that and talk about some of the things, that Adobe did as well, and maybe some things you do internally at Bamboo?
Yeah, I think, Joe, it's interesting you say that about some of the trends that you saw happening early in the work with the Adobe Digital Index team. I mean, if you look globally at what are the core technology trends that are reframing technology buying at a small business, at a large business, across the board, and you look over the last 10 years, well, what's it been? Well, cloud's at the top of that list, right? Security, compliance, privacy has emerged to be a top 1 or 2, or 3 item. Customer experience has been at the top of that agenda. And I think exactly what you're talking about now is people are realizing that your employees, your core human capital is elevating to the point of it's got to sit at equal footing with many of these other platforms in order to unlock what the potential of that business is to go and to do. And so for me, the DNA of a good employee experience, I think it's a great question because it helps you get to what's the core atomic makeup of a business and what that experience is. And for me, it's not about the perks. It's not about like, oh, I get free food here, and over there they've got the best ping pong table, or those things matter, and they're going to matter to maybe some portion of the population. But I think you have to go earlier. You have to actually say, what is the reason why this company exists? Like, why is it here? And that is, what is called a mission statement. So what's the mission? And is that mission something that resonates with me as a human? Is it something I can get up in the morning and say, you know what, that's what we're doing? A few examples. So at Bamboo HR, our mission is to set people free to do great work. We just fundamentally believe that there are things that people are doing at work that they shouldn't be doing, that could be automated. Let them unlock more of the human potential that they have sitting latent to deliver. So we talk about setting people free to do the work that they were hired to do. Another company I'm involved with that a mission statement that caught my eye to where I chose to invest my time is another Silicon Slopes company here, Pluralsight. And their mission is to democratize technology skills for the world. Well, I think about what does the world need right now, and what do some areas of the world that just need help, just laddering up out of the situation that they're in, giving access and equal access to the skills of the future. That's something that's a good reason to exist. That's a good why. And then Joe, the company where we have a shared history at Adobe, what's Adobe's mission? And why did we choose to spend years of our career there? Well, the mission at Adobe is to change the world through digital experiences. Well, is that needed today? Is digital becoming increasingly important? Yes, of course. So for me, the DNA of a good employee experience doesn't start with the perks and some of those things that are flashy. It starts at a much more at a molecular level to say, what is the reason why we exist? Is that a mission that resonates with a certain population? If so, they should be employees. They should come and engage with us and work with us.
Yeah, that was a really cool part of Adobe, and similar to what you're doing at Bamboo is in those harder days. You would look at what Adobe was doing and how many people that enabled. How many creators and how many, so sometimes you'd feel like, there's just technology, but then you would see how many people it enabled. And, at Cloud App, if I'm having like a rough day, I'll go read the reviews on G2 or Gartner and kind of see how much time it's saving people and how much more productive it's making people, skipping meetings and long emails and sending a video instead. Visions and values is the thing that keeps you there. The ping pong table may get you in the door, but certainly the values is going to keep you there.
And the question, Joe, is I love that you got to the values, because it starts with mission, which is the why, the what, but the values are the how. And I think that many times, maybe at times in my career to where I thought about values like those are just the beautiful posters on the wall and look how cool those are, but it doesn't really inform our how. And I just think that when you can marry the what with a powerful how to where those values show up every day and how I interact with my colleagues and my peers, that to me becomes one of the great unlocks in any company anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. And, let's talk about how that kind of leads to customer experience. If you have a good employee experience, you have a good mission, you have good values, how does that tie to customer experience?
I think it's a great question. Well, and Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos, who just passed away recently, which is devastating. He was known as an extreme culture builder, and he has a quote here that I love. That our number one priority at Zappos is company culture. Our whole belief that is if you get the culture right, most of the other stuff like delivering a great customer experience or building a long-term enduring brand will just happen naturally on its own. So he's throwing out and saying, look, you focus on the employee experience and culture, all the rest of the stuff, including customer experience, is going to take care of itself. And, Joe, for you and I, this might sound crazy because, I spent a decade at Adobe, building and selling and delivering customer experience software to the world, and advocating that, gosh, if you don't focus on the customer experience, you will lose. And the funny thing is I saw, lots of businesses invest millions and millions of dollars in technology and software, in agencies and consultants to come in and help them reorient their company around the customer. And I actually, I actually started to think, like, what if we've got it all wrong? What if we're wrong?
Right.
Maybe customers aren't the king. You think about that, and I think an interesting question for businesses to answer is, as we spend all this time to focus on a customer experience, what are we doing for our employees? And think about an experience that you've had with a brand where digitally, perhaps, maybe they're doing a great job, but you interact with one of their employees and it all breaks down.
Yeah. I wrote for the Qualtrics blog, I don't know, 2 years ago, pretty close to after I left Adobe. And I talked about this Patagonia experience. I'd never bought anything from Patagonia, and I got this gift card. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to finally use it. And I bought this shirt, and, you wash clothes before you wear them. And so I threw it in the wash, and the ink like ran on it. And I was like, oh, this is such a pain. I'm going to have to like send this back, and they're going to make me, sit on hold for 3 hours, and it's just not even worth it. I'll just throw this shirt away. And then I was like, oh, well, I'll give him a chance. So I called him up, and before I even told them what had happened, she told me a new shirt was in the mail. I was on the call for maybe like 3 minutes. She's like, okay, we've sent you a new shirt. Go ahead and just send that other one back. And thanks for choosing Patagonia. And that was just such a huge experience. And it's like what you said, it was in the support queue. It's like your last line of defense that many people probably forget about.
Well, and in all the sexiness of digital analytics and delivering in milliseconds, and all the things that, that you and I can recite by heart, it's interesting that in creating moments that matter with your customers, guess what? Your employees are still involved. And if there's a big dichotomy, dissonance between what you talk about doing for customers, which is delighting them, between customers and your employees, if that delight doesn't exist with your employees, guess what? It all breaks down.
Yep. Yeah, it's got a funnel all the way down from the very top to all the way down to the bottom. In the modern workplace, how do you think visuals and video connect your employees? Well, obviously, we've kind of all been shifted. I loved Satya's quote that I'm sure you've seen by now, but he said, 2 years of digital transformation talk pushed into 2 weeks from last year. How have you guys used visuals and video to connect with your employees and also customers?
Yeah, I think it's exactly right. We all are much better at this particular item as we sit here today in February 2021 than we were last March. And at Bamboo, we do a couple different things every year that we're in person, that we're a part of why people love to be there. And we get employees together twice a year. Once in May, once in November. And these are not like sales conferences where we all are talking about how we're going to go sell more. They're conferences where we come together just to learn. It's a massive like learning and development exercise where we bring in external speakers to speak to our employees. And it's just a time for us to gather, to be together, to share goodness and lift one another up and prepare for what the next 6 months will bring. Well, we had to do that on video. How you create engagement for 700 employees on and in video and to have it feel the same. But our creative team, our video team, our marketing team did a great job. And so that for us was important use of video and that communication platform. We also have implemented Joe, weekly video messages from the executives. So every Monday morning, when Bamboohooligans come into work, they've got a video message from one of the executive team in their inbox. It's anything from 60 seconds to maybe 5 minutes long, talking about something that might have to do with our company theme. It might have to do with something that they're seeing in their organization, but it's just some connective tissue. And we all want to see humans. Maybe we don't want to be on another, long video call, but a quick message from the executives has been one that I think has worked for us. And then, our normal town hall meetings and everything else are on video, because I think it's just a powerful platform where you can communicate in a way that I think resonates.
Absolutely. I love that connection that you brought up. It's so important to keep that steady drumbeat of connection. And we were really good at it in the beginning. It's certainly faded a little bit as we've settled in. But it's been fun to kind of all kind of figure out ways that we can connect when we, can't be side by side.
And one of the things there you talked about, and you and I were talking before we started about, doing a podcast or communications. It's a grind. You have to work for it. And employee communications and employee experience, I think, is the same thing. There's actually one of our customers, D2IQ, that treats their employee experience like we treat products. I thought this was an interesting way to think about it. Is you think about the product development life cycles with vision and strategy, with roadmaps, and then being accountable to those roadmaps that we do in technology, and when we're delivering software. They do the same thing with their employee experience. And I just thought that's a super powerful way to say, you know what, we're not just paying lip service to this. We're going to invest and treat it just like we do our product development lifecycle.
That's really great. Well, you've kind of mentioned this along the way, but what are a couple of things you as a company do to create an experience?
Yeah, I think, for us, I think I talked about those twice a year meetings, and
Yep.
and you go back to, Joe, maybe meetings that we did, at Adobe, to where it was always like a sales conference or a kickoff of some sort. But really getting together twice a year just to make people better, and to invest there has paid huge dividends. The other thing that we create with intention with our employees that employees love is we really want to engage employees, their friends, their families, to where they're all part of our employee community, and deliver experiences. We talk about experiences, deliver experiences to them with intention, and which is why we pay our employees to go on vacation. One of our most popular benefits, we call it our paid vacation benefit, to where you get paid time off to go on vacation, and then we're actually going to pay you to cover some of those experiences that maybe you were going to go to Disneyland and your kids really just want some Dole Whip, and you were like, hey, we're going to get you to Disneyland, but I can't, no to the Dole Whip. It's like, no, here's some extra money when you're on vacation to create some experiences with your family and friends that you might not otherwise choose to do, and come back and tell us about it. Post on an internal communication channel what you did and why it was important to you and your family. And for us, so employee experience extends not just in the during the workday. It extends to paid time off, to what's happening in your community, which is why one of the new benefits that we announced this last year was paid time off to volunteer at a place of your choice. As we have spent so much time as a society talking about what are the things that we can do to make it better, to engage, to help maybe reframe the dialogue that's happening, and to learn from those around us. We wanted to provide our company, our employees, a venue to go do that.
That's really cool. I like those kind of unique benefits. I mean, it kind of makes me think of, everyone would talk about sabbatical at Adobe after 5 years, and it's like, yeah, it's great to have 5 months off or a month off, but I've got 5 people in my family. It's pretty expensive to go vacation for a month. So
yeah,
you kind of have to figure out what you can do, with that time off. So it's cool that you provide that extra layer of benefit. And
and the word that I always come up with, Joe, as we think about this, is how do we delight? how do we delight our employees in a way that's unexpected, that's more powerful than a ping pong table or, what have you?
Absolutely. So, I gave my Patagonia example. We've certainly talked a lot about Adobe and Cloud App and Bamboo. What's a recent experience you had as a customer? It could be with a SaaS product, could be with clothes or anything that you're purchasing online. What's an experience you had as a customer?
Yeah, I'd say one that I would call out, given that I'm so passionate about small and medium-sized businesses right now, I pay attention to what's really on their mind. And I have a barber shop that I spent a couple of years sourcing that does amazing haircuts, straight razor shaves. That they make it an experience, and I love it. It's scissor and bone for anyone who might be in and around the Provo, Orem, Utah
Nice.
area. But it's interesting. I've been going to the same barber for years now. We have our, thing. We speak in shorthand to where he knows how I like to have my haircut, et cetera, et cetera. Well, he and his wife just had a baby. So before he went out on paternity leave, we had planned it to where it's like, look, let's get a haircut before, the baby comes to where we're going to do that. Well, guess what? Baby came early. I got a call from them the morning of my appointment saying, hey, look, your regular, barber's not going to be here. Baby came, but we'd still love to have you come in. We've got you taken care of. I walked in. I was nervous because it's like, I didn't, it could end horribly. But I walked in and guess what they had done? The barber who's going to be taking care of me knew me by face, welcomed me by name, walked in and said, I understand that this is how you typically like your haircut. It was like the context sharing that we talk about in digital in terms of how do you share the customer context to where every interaction, the customer doesn't have to reintroduce themselves to you as a business. Because many times as businesses, we expose our organizational chart to our customers. It's like, right. Oh, well, you're talking to support now. Oh, you're talking to sales. Oh, you're talking to product. And they don't share context. Yeah. But here was an example of a company that shared customer context, and they probably did it human to human. They probably talked. Imagine that. But I walked in and all the customer context was carried over. And for me, I walked out with a great haircut and just really grateful that this company took care of me. And so loyalty went up, all those good things that happen when you deliver a delightful experience.
It's really cool. Brad, it's been a really fun conversation. Definitely brings me back to some grinding days at Adobe. I always, I'm a big fan of predictions. I'd love for you to kind of look into your crystal ball and tell me what you think the modern workplace looks like. Where are we going to be 5 years from now?
I think the future of a modern workplace, like we can talk about the tactics around remote versus not remote, but I go to the beginning back to mission and values. I think the modern workplace is where an employee can bring all of themselves to work, where they feel that they belong. And if you belong and you can bring your best self to work, what that will unlock in terms of human potential for achievement, for development, and what that means for all of our companies, but what that'll mean for communities, families, and everybody around. I just think that that's what we would like to see the modern workplace become.
It's really great. Yeah, I think that continued investment in people is so big. It's something that should never change, hopefully. Well, Brad, you're great. We love Bamboo. We use it here at Cloud App. Love the technology and obviously the company and the people over there. Thanks for your time again today, and look forward to talking again soon.
Thanks,